One and welcome back to another budget photography video. Welcome to episode 3 where I'm going to promise to try and end this little series now. It's just nuts. So where were we? We were right on this image here that's nice and bright and colourful and just amazing, like all of my images, of course. Right. So, what can we do next? Now, these ones here... Oh, he looks happy. Look at that miserable old bastard. Is it? No, there we go. Oh, no, he is just in a different world. So, oh yeah, we tried to do him, didn't we? But it was all noisy. So, let's have a look. Where are we? Right, so... that's out of focus. That's my fault. So we'll skip her. He's just checking his phone. Not very interesting. Let's skip through some of these. You can't really see what's really on his sign there. So, oh yes, I was talking about how that they were blocking the road in one of the last episodes. You can tell I'm not used to using this camera. I'm not saying it's the camera's fault, but yeah. So... have we done one of these? I feel like we've done one of these. Yes, we have. We did them two together. Sorry, it's been a while. Right, so I'm pretty sure this is where we were. So let's find... These are all really underexposed images, and I really shouldn't have underexposed them that much. Because if we... Not that one. If we go to the lighting and we just bring the exposure up, we can kind of see it kind of falls apart, especially here. And on her arm. It's not too bad on her arm. That's kind of fine. To be fair, that doesn't really need editing. We'll bring in some smart contrast. Maybe we'll drop the highlights. Drop some shadows. I think, actually, what might be quite good is not the structure, but... go to colour and we take it out. Yes, that looks good. I like that. And then we go to lighting and then bring in some more smart contrast. Really contrast it up a little bit. And I think that whoops, that's my phone I've just knocked. I think that looks pretty good. So let's move on to the next one. So we don't obviously want another one of her, or at least with that megaphone. Sorry, I'm really tapping this button really hard. I don't know if you... Also, can you guys... I'm still trying to figure out this microphone. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm 3 episodes into this, and I'm only just asking you how you guys feel about this microphone, because it's really good, and I can do stuff like this, and I really like it. I'm actually thinking about going into the ASMR-y stuff, but it's only a thought, really. You see, stuff like this, like, I don't know why I took this picture. There's probably a good reason, but if we bring that right up to where I'd like it, you can see down here, we got loads of colour noise, and just noise in general. It's just not a very nice image, but that is to be expected of this kind of age of sensor. So we'll skip these ones. I think we may have to skip all of these. So this is the guy that I was telling you about in one of the other episodes. If in case you haven't seen it, this guy, I don't know who he is. He came out of the health department here in London, and he had a go at the protesters, and he seemed important. That's all it was. He just seemed important. So if you know who he is, then please definitely do get in touch. He seems very angry, because he was very angry for some reason. I don't really know why. Maybe he just didn't agree. But you can see again Just by lifting them shadows. Look at that. Just let's keep them shadows down, shall we? I think we'll keep the shadows down. Just because even on the officer's, even on the zip just here on this officer's zip, we can see it, and it's not looking very good. So I think we may have to skip this man, because I don't know who he is. Although he paid me no attention, bearing in mind that I'm at full burst. And for me, full burst sounds, well, it's this. Like, that's my full burst of my camera. So, I really, and especially like right here, I'm right up in his face with my camera. And I believe, actually, I wonder if we bring up the exposure, just overexpose it. Look, you can actually see me just there. Look, I'm not even using the viewfinder. I'm just kind of praying and kind of just going like that. Sorry, I love doing this. I do this even when I don't need to. It's like a machine gun for me. Sorry. I'll stop now. There you go. Look, I've turned it off and I've put it to the side. Anyway, let's get back to this, shall we? So I think unfortunately we're going to have to miss out on his pictures because they seem. Ooh, I do quite like that. That seems. I mean, if we don't lift up the shadows and we cool that one down, we lift the exposure, maybe bring in some smart contrast, we'll drop the highlights. Actually, no, maybe if we warm that up. And actually, I think that might look better if we put it in black and white. I do really like that. I am going to export that because I really like that. There we go. Let's actually have a look at my RAM usage. Bearing in mind, I am doing other stuff at the same time here. I think I'm exporting episode 1 here. I'm uploading a video here on Safari, and I'm obviously using Luma AI. So let's have a look. So yeah, look, Final Cut Pro was using, at the last time I looked, it was using, there we go, 7 gigs, and Final Cut Pro is using 7.5, 2.15 gigs. Right, so 7.23, it's not too bad. Anyway, go back to edit, and we will skip through him. Now, these they kept posting on the floor, and they kept getting in trouble with the police for it, but they kept doing it because that's what they wanted to do. Bearing in mind that I'm not there to judge them, I am there to document them. And that's it. And they seem to really like these little stickers. So, yeah. What else have we got? So we've got this lady again on the megaphone. She was shouting up to the building behind me. We've had her before. Now, if you go into edit, again, if we lift up the shadows, we're going to see so much noise within this image. And it really bugs me. It really bugs me. Because I feel like as if these could be so much if only the sensor was that little bit better. Because we've got some nice depth. And this little bit of grain at the background here and on this lady's face, I don't really mind. I really don't. It's this here that I really do not like. It just bugs the hell out of me. Which is a shame. But I think it's because I'm still learning this camera. Because it's not a full frame camera. It's an APS-H. So, there's that. Anyway, let's have a look. So we've got this lady again. Apparently, I wanted lots of pictures of her. So we've got this gentleman here. This seems to be out of focus, so I think we'll find one that is in focus. Let's zoom in. That's kind of in focus. go to that one. I think we could get away with just kind of... But again, you can see on every single image, I'm going to stop going on about it because it's just not even worth it anymore, because you just know there's going to be some kind of noise on an image. And I must say, this area wasn't even very... Like, it was getting dark. I believe it was about 4 or 5 o'clock, so it was getting there, but it wasn't really that dark. This man seems to like talking. Stickers again. See, you've got a lady there, or a gentleman there, I believe. Putting the stickers down. So you've got loads of them. Oh, she looks very smug of herself, doesn't she? Very, very smug lady. I don't remember why she looked so smug, but that's not the point. This, I believe, I took pictures of because I wanted to read it. But I noticed that even after I took the pictures, I couldn't see all of that properly. So I just gave up. I do quite like this picture, not because of the statement, but because I like the fact that there's a statement here and then there is the London Eye in the background. And that's about it. This gentleman here, this person here was very, very argumentative, and the police officers didn't like him. And I can kind of understand why, because he was very talk at you rather than talk to you. So there's that. I'm sure what he had to say, I didn't really pay attention to what he was saying. I'm sure what he had to say was very, very intelligent. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Who knows? But he just seemed like not a very nice person to talk to, and he was very talkative to this police lady here, and just kind of shoving his camera in their faces. Now, I want to outline something here. There is no law against filming in public. People can ask you to delete them if you take a picture of them, but in the UK, there is no expectation of privacy when you go outside. And that rule applies to police officers when they're in uniform, and you're allowed to film them. They cannot, as far as I'm aware, ask you to stop or delete footage. And whilst I fully back that, I do think what this gentleman here is doing is kind of a little bit intrusive. I believe personally that he should have pulled the camera back a little bit more, but this was a few weeks ago and that's what he saw fit. And whilst in my eyes, this police lady looks very not really bothered about it, really, to be brutally honest. She's just to me, she looks like as if she just wants to go home. Because as I said, he was talking at her rather than talking to her. But anyway, let's move on, shall we? This I actually found quite interesting. These are syringes. I found them very weird. And on closer inspection, they do seem to have something in them. Or is that the glue? I think that's the glue. Yeah, that's the glue. I'm not going to bother reading it because their handwriting looks appalling. Not saying mine's any better, but the handwriting is appalling. Let's enhance it. I must say, this little enhance just over here is really nice. Like, I'm able to whack that fully up. I've got a nice bright image, and there is no noise. Well, sorry, I take that back. There's noise here. But when you zoom out, and if I was to bring that back, I reckon yeah, to the average person, you wouldn't be able to notice any of that noise. And that's really nice to be able to, just do. And that's kind of the purpose of this editing software. It kind of lets the AI do it for you. So how much RAM are we using? Well, we're not bottlenecking now. And we're still using about 7 gigs, 7.10 gigs. So we're still using a lot, but we're still within reason of how much RAM my MacBook actually has for one program. Because Final Cut Pro is using 2.15 gigs, which isn't very much. Put that back down. I think we'll have a look at one more picture because I've still got just so many pictures here that I want to go through. Because I do actually have quite a few stories. So you can see here actually the gentleman again just talking at the lady and pointing at her. I think we'll actually edit one of these actually because he was... I do find him incredibly kind of... I suppose the word is arrogant. Because when I first, met him at this protest, I didn't speak to him. He seemed to me, upon first look, as if he was one of myself, an independent filmmaker. Maybe he was there for contract work or something like that. But it does later turn out that he was with the protesters. That's totally fine with me if that's what he wants to believe in. But he was just he didn't seem very nice. And that kind of, in my eyes, the reason that I'm talking so much about this guy is because people with, when you're attending a protest, people assume that you're a journalist. They just do. They assume that you're a freelance journalist or you're working for like the Mail or the Telegraph or the Sun or whatever. And it kind of gives people that are actually working as independent, like myself, a bad name. Because I'm not like that. I spoke to the police officers and I actually believe I did speak to that female police officer before this altercation. And it kind of gives freelancers and other independent journalists a really bad name. And it just really bugs me when you have people like me and other people who have worked in this industry for a fair few years now who are just trying to get by, and then you get arrogant twits like this who come along with their little... What is it? A Panasonic? Yeah, it's a Lumix. It's at least a Lumix. And just start shouting at police officers. As journalists, we usually stay away from the police officers. I work with some of them. I'm not a police officer. I work with them, so I ask them, what can I do to help you? And, where can I not go? Because sometimes, there's areas of where you cannot go because they've blocked it off for protection. So no, you have to stay behind this line or blah, 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 blah. And a lot of the time, them conversations can be really, really quite nice. They're there to do a job the same as me. And quite frankly, they just want to get on with it. They don't want twits like this talking at them as if they're pieces of crap. Oh no, look, now he's talking to this gentleman here. Let's move on. Anyway, actually, I think we're going to have to make an episode 4 because I think this has now gone on now for way too long. So I'm going to have to make an episode 4. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this whole series in the end now. Yeah, so I'm hoping you're enjoying it, and I will see you in the next one.